welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear of favor. The Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, has announced the arrival of new fleet of buses aimed at reducing ongoing road transport difficulties across the country. In a Facebook post, the minister addressed the situation and outlined steps being taken to improve public transport. He said government had begun receiving buses as part of a broader plan to expand capacity and ease pressure on commuters. 100 to 29-seater buses have arrived in the country to ease recent road transport challenges, he stated. Somewhere around September last year, the Minister of Transport, Bukari Nikpi, has announced that the government is in talking terms with authorities in other countries where they can purchase buses into the country. And this is mainly because, we all know there was a time where getting vehicles to your destination became a challenge. And it's not as if it is solved. We are still facing it. So they made mention that we'll be receiving 300 buses, but it will come in trenches, which means we will get the first trench, which will be 100 buses. The second time, the buses will come, and then the last round, which will get the final buses of 100. So as it stands now, the country, Ghana, has received 100 transit buses, which is going to help ease the challenges when it comes to you accessing a vehicle to your destination, whether to work or wherever you want to go. Now, it is good, but I've received a lot of messages and all that, but this is what I want to ask. How well are we going to maintain these buses? And I feel like we should first of all look at the population of the country. Ghana is small. 300 buses or 500 buses will not be enough. If we can get more of the buses, that will help. And I feel like so long as we are going in for this transit buses, more or less, or unlike the Metro Mass bus, which also gets like this private vehicles, the government can as well acquire private vehicles like the normal vehicles that they are using for church or here. The more reason why I'm saying this is because these vehicles, has the tendency of having its way or moving to places where this metro bus cannot go. Because I believe every bus and how it's being structured. We have buses that do not go on long journey. That is how the bus is being structured. We have buses that go on long journey. So when we take this Metro Mass buses, they are vehicles that, need to be on good road, a well-constructed road, let me put it that way. But you and I know that our roads are not it's not that good. And so why not we get, if you are importing or getting in 500 buses and we now have 100 buses, then I feel like we should also get like 500 private vehicles, of which we know that these vehicles can go into corners regardless. So we don't rely so much on these transit buses because we know that there are places they cannot maneuver their way through. And then how well are we going to maintain these buses? There have to be strict monitoring and supervision. These buses need to be used properly. It should be properly checked. It shouldn't be something that we've experienced before. Because I quite remember that when we first brought in the Metro Mass Transit buses, there were instances where it had issues and all that. And then at the end of it, we realized that some parts of the buses were even sold out. Because they felt that the bus is not good enough. It wouldn't be used again. But these are buses that can be repaired. It can be used. When you go to Accra right now, you will see a lot of Metro Mass buses that are left to rot because it's no longer in use. So please, if you are importing buses into this country to help ease, the challenges of you getting a vehicle to wherever you want to go, then its maintenance should be taken so seriously. As I said, there should be strict supervision and monitoring on these buses. And please, to the transport minister, this is a slight advice. 500 transit buses, 500 private vehicles like the Sprinter buses we have all over. This will help us. Those vehicles maneuver their way into corners where Metro Mass will not go. Thank you for making time with me on the Base Group.